we start on time and we cover everything that we need to. Okay, so the streaming's now working. We've just got a couple of about a minute left to get started, and then we'll welcome everyone to the meeting. Okay. We'll have to go through the formalities. I will be doing another 1 minute silence because it's a totally different meeting.
Yeah, that's fair. Happy with that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the monthly parish council meeting. We're starting a bit later because we had the annual parish meeting starting at 7, which ran till just before 8 o'clock. Please note this is an online meeting streamed live on YouTube, open to the parishioners of Easton and invited speakers only. Section 78 of the Coronavirus Act 2020 allows parish councils to set up virtual meetings. These regulations are currently in force until May the 7th, 2021. To participate and invite, you would have needed an invitation code. Okay. So we have no apologies for absence tonight. I hope that all those joining us on YouTube will find this of interest. Declarations of interest of items on this agenda not recorded elsewhere, and for any requests for dispensations. I'm going to declare an interest in item 11.1. There's an outstanding issue with South Norfolk Council that I'm dealing with. So I will not be taking part in the conversation, nor will I be voting on it. I will leave that up to Ben Moy to take over the meeting at that stage and discuss that application. Does anyone else have any items they want to declare which need to be declared at this time? No. Okie doke. Receive and approve the minutes of the meetings of the 1st of March, 15th of March and the 18th of March. I think we start with the 1st of March. David, I understand you've got a missing date that you want to mention.
End of section 8.2. It's only one sentence long, and there's a, if you just read it, there's no date there.
Okay. All right, so we will get that amended. Francis, can we please?
Yeah.
And if that date is amended, is there anything else on those minutes that need to be adjusted, David?
Well, no, only what we discussed before about muting and turning video off.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. What we'll do is, if people are in agreement, we'll move this forward and approve these minutes. I will support these minutes. Can I have a seconder, please?
Yep. Yeah,
all in favor? Unanimous. Okay, the meeting of the 15th, that was a single item agenda meeting. Are people happy with those minutes?
Yes.
Could I have a proposer? Yeah, Ben's proposing. Seconder, please. Yeah, David's seconding. All in favor? Yep, passed unanimously. 18th of March. Have we all had a chance to read those minutes?
Yes.
Okay, we're all happy with those minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I need a proposer.
Yep.
You're proposing a seconder, please. Ben's seconded. All in favour? Yep. Okie doke. Matters arising from the minutes not on the agenda elsewhere. There's one item of one of the minutes, which is the 1st of March, which had an ex-parish councillor dealing with contacting Norfolk County Council Education with regard to the school. If you're happy, I'll take that on and contact Isabel Horner. Anyone got any problem? Everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Okay, so that's done. So what we're going to have is a bit of a presentation from the community policing issues in Easton by Stuart Barnard, our beat manager from Norfolk Constabulary. I'm also going to do is I'm going to put some pictures up on the screen shortly, but Stuart, if you want to start, and then you've seen the photographs that we've got, and then we can bring those in as we need to.
Yeah, no problem at all. Sorry, I haven't really done a presentation. It's just me speaking, unfortunately. So you just have to bear with me with that. First of all, thank you for the invite. I think this is the first Easton Parish Council meeting I've been involved in. So apologies for not being involved previously, but here I am. We had a public meeting. It was our first public meeting we had on a social platform like this. It was held on Teams, and that was full of my area, which also includes Cossey, Easton, and the surrounding villages. Just quickly, we had a poll as to how to set our priorities. And well, the results were as follows. I mean, this is the whole of the Cossey / Easton area as a whole, but I will break it down into what Easton wants me to do as well. So that the top priority for Cossey and Easton was burglary and theft. The second one was speeding, and the third was antisocial behaviour. The local priority figures for Easton are as follows. Speeding, which took 72 votes, road safety took 24 votes, burglary and theft 9 votes, and ASB took 4 votes. So it's also a bit of a common theme in burglary and theft and speeding associated with both areas. So that's obviously what I'll be setting as our sort of priorities. Crime stats. Peter, would you like me to go through them again, or are you happy that we've got the same audience?
We have gone through all of those. Easton's been very lucky with regard to the crime statistics. However, I'm still very concerned that one domestic violence incident is one too many, and we're doing all we can by advertising the fact of places people to go and to groups to talk to, but you may want to reassure people that they can talk to you in confidence. You know, if they're worried about someone, you know, I think that would be useful if you can explain.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we take domestic violence very seriously. We always take positive action. Positive action could be anything, really. It could result in prosecution, or it could end up with just a formal chat as well. So there's levels in which we can hit with domestic violence, but also if somebody wants to speak to us on any sort of measures possible, whether it be online, whether it be a private phone call, or recording it through the 999 system or 101, if you want to remain anonymous, then we will treat you as anonymous. We will not give out your details to anyone. We're not just a police force. We deal with a variety of things, and we've got different departments who can deal with specialities as well. And one of those specialities is dealing with vulnerable people. And domestic violence with victims involved obviously can lead to vulnerability there in the household. So rest assured, you can speak to a specialist person there, whether it will be for domestic abuse or harassment or a criminal offence linked to a domestic, or just ongoing sort of domestic related issues like every day people get. So we are here for you, for that as well. Thank you, Peter, for that.
And just want to make the point there on, it's a very big thing for me. That domestic violence is not just about physical violence. You can intercede if it's about emotional, because that can be worse than physical.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, it's right at the forefront. It has been for well, since I've been in the police force over 20 years now. It's such a big topic and something which we've become experts in dealing with, if I'm being honest with you, with the different departments we set up. The only other stat which I'm a little bit concerned about was the criminal damage, but that was because of a series of nails being placed under tyres of vehicles, which I don't think everyone reported to us, to be fair. I mean, the people who did report it are the four people, or the four offences which I've already mentioned. I just wanted to raise a point, really, that if you don't report a crime, we won't know about it. You can put it on Facebook, you can put it on Instagram, you can do anything like that, but the police will not officially record that crime unless you report it to us. So that my sort of my guide with that is report anything to us what you wish to report. The more reports we get, the more I can do for you. The four criminal damage which I did receive, I actually recorded it some months after the actual event had took place, and I can't do anything about it then, unfortunately. So my message to you is please record it. With this particular series of criminal damage, there are different policing strategies that I could put in place, plain clothes. We could go to the realms of using cameras as well if we had a location and time series which we could look at. So yeah, message, please record it. Just moving on to I think the sort of main topic really, Peter, for us is the parking issues and what have you, which I want to obviously touch base with you on. The main focal point really is at school pick-up and drop-off points. I'm sure people agree here with the amount of traffic flow which we do have in Easton. It's a relatively small school, but everyone travels to the school, I think, in my own personal opinion. It's quite difficult for me because yes, I can help with that, but the main emphasis of enforcing this type of thing actually comes from county council, where they employ enforcement officers to deal with parking issues. It doesn't mean that I can't get involved in these issues. I mean, I will do, of course, if there is any dangerous parking. And what I mean by dangerous parking is parking on like a blind bend. It's an incident which is likely to result in immediate injury. That's something which I would then sort of deal with straight away. I would also deal with willful obstruction, which is intentionally parking in front of private driveways and what have you. Double yellow lines, parking on pavement, traffic calming measures all come from county council. Peter, I think you're showing some pictures on the screen there, aren't you?
I've got some pictures on the screen of the areas that we are getting a lot of the problems with. There are measures in place that we have now, but what was very alarming was the lady couldn't be with us this evening, and she was very upset. When she came to our last meeting, she was crossing the road here, and a car nearly ran her and her two children down. And it's a real worry because the cars were parked, she was saying they were parked all over the place. I've got one incident where a gentleman in the village wanted to approach a vehicle that was actually parked on the zigzags, but felt that he couldn't, because one, he was worried the reaction he would get, because the gentleman may have used the race card against him. You know, and all they were doing was parking there to purely pick up their child early. You know, so that is a real concern. It was a white Audi, I believe. So we have real concerns about this. And so what we don't want to do is see happen is a family or a child killed or seriously injured, because people are now just accepting, oh, around all schools in Norfolk, there's problems with parking. You know, we don't want that for our village. We need action taken to actually go after these, because when they park in the junctions, that is dangerous parking. When they park round the corners of Marlingford Way, that is dangerous parking. That is a police matter where you can actually, in law, enforce it, but you choose not to. And that's really concerning. You need to send a very strong message out. This will not be tolerated.
Okay, so yeah, I understand what you're saying there, Pete. I feel fully taken on board. Parking on the zigzags in the middle of the screen, yeah, I'd call it dangerous parking as well, because they're there for a reason. Absolutely, they are. The problem what I've got, it shouldn't be a problem for Easton, but it is that I'm the only officer covering quite a large area, and it all comes to the amount of officers we've got readily available to deal with this type of thing. Hence why they brought in the introduction of the civil enforcement officers, who again themselves are very stretched as well. However, I don't want to see this in Easton. I really don't, this type of parking. So I will make a pledge with you that I will be down there as and when I can. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm going to be every day, because I'm not going to. Of course, I'm not. I mean, I don't want people to get into any confrontation with drivers, because that could lead to other things, which again I don't want. However, if we make notes of indexes, car registration numbers, I'm more than happy to go around and educate the drivers about the wrongdoings, let's say. And if I see it happening myself, yes, of course I can enforce it. That goes without saying. One thing which I will mention is that I've been involved in some discussions with the county council, and there's a lady called Jill Starkey, who's a road safety coordinator working for public health. She's a public health officer for the council. Really, really positive person, and I think there could be a good link there with the police, with the council, and with the school. I'll just read out what she sent to me a few days ago. She said that I discussed the issues with the others in the NCC road safety team, and I suggested we put together a parent parking promise and pledge resource, which will include signposting to various interventions, campaign materials, ideas, projects, sign-up leaflets, assembly ideas, etc. It is the hope that schools will engage and commit to the scheme. I think everyone wants to work together with this in order to problem solve. And I think it will take a multi-agency approach in order to look at this, rather than the main focus being on the police. We need to educate people as well, don't we? I have a few ideas myself in order to combat this, and I propose to do this in the schools are open now, aren't they? But yeah, I'll be it will definitely be on my radar. I'll say the actual physical reports I'm getting through with this type of incident, which you've just explained, Peter, is very minimal. I need people to start reporting things like this. I need to get people to get the car registration numbers. Without them, I can't do anything for you. But what I will do is the place that I will devote more time in the drop-off and pick-up times at school.
Okay.
Do. What I'd like to say is that up at the Norfolk Showground, I see every day 5 or 6 police vehicles. Obviously, they're up there training their dogs. Appreciate that they have to do that. But I do believe that a police presence, even just driving through, will help alleviate some of this problem. They're your colleagues. Could you not ask them to perhaps just, in the morning when they're going to the showground, or in the afternoon, actually just take a slightly longer detour through Easton just to try and help alleviate this problem? We're seeing it all too often, and it's a nightmare, as I say. And your colleagues are up at the showground. I've been up there today, 2 different parts of the showground. They're training dogs. Great. Not asking them to get the dogs on these people, but I'm asking that with police vehicles coming through, it might just help ease the problem and make your job slightly easier, and make these parents think if they see a police car, that'll have a lot more effect than just an enforcement officer or somebody from the council appearing. People do not like to see police cars.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's absolutely bang on. Yeah, good idea. I will propose it. I'll pass it on to the dog section to see if they can help us out. But yeah, that's a smashing idea. Thank you for that. Unfortunately, they only give us unmarked vehicles these days with the community policing. So, however, we've got access to a big riot van, so maybe I could pop along one of those as well.
Like I say, the dog vehicles are up there. They're very bright, big vehicles, nice, noisy dog. I'm not asking you to terrify the kids, but just, a little bit of pressure on the parents. But if they see a police vehicle, it will make people think.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Most honest person in the world always looks twice, even if they see a police car. So yeah.
It's just the issue of resource. The resource levels are rubbish at the moment with the police, as you probably know. But yes, it's a good idea. We could utilise that, couldn't we? I'll make sure I put that forward.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I just say in defence of the school that they have tried everything they know how to get the parents to park nicely and safely and within the law, but it has very little effect. And not only that, but that driveway you can see is my driveway. It's got the zigzags outside it, that one. And I have a ringside seat if I want one, twice a day. And I have to say that some of the cars that are parked just down Woodville Road are residents' cars.
Yeah.
And during lockdown, some of them have been there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's not just the parents. I think the residents need to be a bit more, shall I say, understanding that these people have to get their children to school. They don't all live in Easton. Some of them live sort of far-flung bits of Cossey and Borba and places. And they have to get their children here, and they would be prosecuted if they don't. Eventually, if they didn't bring them to school. So I don't know how else they would get here. And it is awkward if there isn't a space anywhere for those people. So, I do have to see both sides of it, but I do honestly also see some of the worst driving and the worst parking that I've ever seen in my life. If I choose to look out of my dining room window at wrong time.
Yeah. I've also mentioned before with Jill Starkey, the council worker for public health, that can be extended out to the neighbourhood as well, couldn't it? Just as an idea.
Yeah.
Can I come in? Can I come into this? Because somehow we need to find some parking for the school, and we talked about having the top of the field that's beside it that is now going to be where the new village hall is going to be, didn't we? We talked about having some there so that parents could go on there and park and walk down, and it was ages ago, but nothing seems to have happened. Is that likely to happen? Are we likely to try and get a car park for the school?
The school have no money, so not that I think we would be allowed to spend it on that anyway. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure we wouldn't.
Yeah, no, but the parish council is going to come into an awful lot of money.
It's not the responsibility of the parish council to provide car parking for the school. It's Norfolk County Council should be the ones providing car parking for the school.
Not our school.
We have no control. The parish council has no control of the roads. What we can do is put some of our funding to help put in measures, as we are, for things like bollards to stop the verge parking. We've got some suggestions which I'll bring up. Hopefully, can you see this change of?
Yeah, I think I paid for the bollards.
You paid £300 towards the bollards, which we are most grateful for. But they were a lot more than £300. So we have put a lot of money, nearly £2,000 towards them. What we've got, can you see this change of map, this plan?
Yeah.
What we've got happening, which will happen within between 2 and 2.5 years, is that the junction of Marlingford Road and Hall Road will totally change. I've been speaking with Persimmons, and what we're now going to see is a total change in the junction. So we're not going to get through traffic speeding. And this has to be done within the next 2.5 years because of the conditions that are on the planning. So you're looking 2.5, at most 3 years. But then some of this is going to be down to highways to actually approve, actually do things. So highways have to actually make decisions. And so that's one of the things that is actually happening. So the other things that I was thinking about as a possibility are these. Putting these sort of things along Marlingford Road, and also putting them in along the Dereham Road, because we need to slow the Dereham Road down drastically, because the amount of traffic on there and the speed it's going at is absolutely ridiculous. I know in the past we've caught even unmarked police vehicles doing what we call the dozy-do stops in that area at high speed. So what we need to do is make it an unfriendly environment for people to want to speed. And, we can put that near the school. I don't know if we can actually fit that in one of those in here because it's so close to a junction. It would be useful if we could, because that would really indicate it's a crossing point. Because at the moment, it can get lost as a crossing point for people. There needs to be signage. There needs to be more there. The parish council, we can help support highways in funding it, but highways have designed it, so we'd like to see them hopefully come up with some funds as well towards it. Margaret, that's.
Well, I paid for the crossing.
Yes.
For the lights and that out of my members' grant 2 or 3 years back.
Yes.
And that was about 50% of the money I got for that year.
Yeah.
So I've got 17 villages, so it's difficult to spend.
We very much appreciate what you've done. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is looking for other funding from Norfolk County Council to support this by making it easier to get signs up, crossing point, putting some sort of warning here, changing the road color to red or something.
I still think getting the cars off the road is the best option myself.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when we used the village hall car park. Parents used the village hall car park, but then the door gates were slammed firmly, and the village hall said, "No, you can't."
Yeah.
Well, that is the solution in other villages for at least some of the cars to go on a safe car park off road. But there is no other safe place off the road in that vicinity of the school. And I do know that parents, once you reduce any parking spaces near the school, they're going for places up at College Heights, They go right down Woodview Road. They go down Marlingford Way. They'll go somewhere because they have to get their children to school and take them home again.
The Rembrandt restaurant is offered their car park for that usage.
Yeah, but they won't walk that far.
That's the thing. They need to re-educate. Those individuals who are too lazy to walk that distance need a re-education, and probably one of the best ways to re-educate them is to have police presence. And it's a sad thing. You could have in the walking buses from that car park to bring them down, bring the children down. But it would require parents to actually want to volunteer to support that.
Exactly. I mean, we at the moment, we're trying to get a parent governor from Easton. We've got 3 schools. We've got Great Witchingham and Hockering, which are small villages. We've got parent governors for both of those, but we can't get one from Easton now.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult to engage with the parents if they don't want to be engaged with.
No, but they want to, as an ex-teacher, they want us to educate the children, but not.
And they have been brilliant during the last year, I have to say, and they really have supported the school and what they've been trying to do. So I can't be too unpleasant, but I don't want to be, because we would like them to get more involved. But.
Allow me to use Easton as a trial. With Jill Starkey to see what she can do for us. As I say, she has been involved in this for many years, and I suppose she has become the expert at dealing with problem solving stemmed by parking issues. Give me a little while to speak with her and see what we come up with.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good solution there. Now, the other area of speeding is Dereham Road. Would the police support us if we go to highways to ask for things like this to try and reduce the speed of traffic along that long straight?
Difficult one for me. It's not my level of policing. Let's say that will be for somebody else to make that judgment call. To be fair, Peter,
in touch with someone that we can talk to that can make decisions like that, because if we can get your support on that, then if we can pay for it, or we can go at the end of in November time, put in a bid application for this sort of thing to happen, so that we're happy to we'd be happy to fund 50% of it with highways. But if we can show that the police will be supporting us and others will support us in doing this, we can actually make Easton a safer place.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have a contact in that department, Jack Askew, who is the man to ask. So yes, I'll forward that on to him, Peter.
Yep, that'd be great.
I mean, we did talk about that when the bypass first went through a long while ago, and I was on the council, and the showground objected strongly.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to put that out.
Oh, yeah. I'll be honest, I don't care about the showground.
Neither do we.
I'm stepping down in this chair, so I'm going to be able to be a lot more vocal in my thoughts to these organisations, like the showground. It's not about the showground. They're out of it outside Easton. What we're looking for is protecting residents, not allowing it to be a racetrack whenever the showground fancies to turn it into one, all supported by Norfolk County Council, which is the really sad thing, that they happily give them the licensing to actually just turn it into a one-way racetrack, which is not what we want.
No.
Losing all their car parking because they're going to build all those houses on there. Goodness knows where they're going to park their cars.
No.
And hopefully the police might come along and use a van or something and block them off coming through Easton. And,
Yeah.
you know, something's got to have to change.
I mean, the priority
I really can't see highways agreeing to narrowing the road like that. I honestly can't see them agreeing to it.
Well, is that because big organisations like the Showgrind will want to just use it as a racetrack?
I think it's to keep the traffic moving on the main roads is the word.
It works in Cossey, so why would we not be entitled to the same level of respect that Cossey gets for safety? Or does the high ups at places like the Showgrind have the right sort of handshake? And I'm being serious.
I wouldn't know.
Point. Yeah, I'm free to speak now.
Yeah, that's good.
I want.
I think the bottom line is, Peter, everyone, that the priority for Easton for me is speeding. So I will develop my time management to Easton for this type of thing. I mean, Marlithing Road was talked about as well for the college users. Does that still remain a problem on Marlingford Road as well as Dereham Road?
We get some speeders, but I would say the majority of speeders are residents of Easton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which has been proven in other speeding campaigns that have been done.
Yeah.
That the majority are residents. Unfortunately, an education program needs to take place.
But can I say, Peter, maybe what you want is a speed watch group, because other villages can get residents to be speed watch, to patrol and wear their uniforms, and they do things like that.
The last time this village tried to get a group together to do that, the individuals who tried to put it together were threatened by residents. The police at the time didn't get involved in dealing with those threats against those individuals, so it never went anywhere. We can't even get people wanting to be on the parish council and actually do work. So how can we get them to want to get involved in things like that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, Speedwatch would be perfect. It really would. But as you say, we need commitment from people to devote their time and efforts. And if it does come to threats and what have you, the police will take a positive stance on that. As far as I'm aware, with me being the beat manager for the area, if that happens to one of my residents of Easton, it'll be a zero tolerance. It really would, and we'll take action over that most definitely. It's the way forward. Speedwatch. It's such a useful tool to have. I mean, if I can sort something out, I will do. But I need the numbers to do that, and I need people who are committed to do it as well.
Yeah.
It's no use in a handful of people being interested in doing it. I need firm sort of volunteers to carry it out. I have got links in that well, so if anyone is interested, then please drop me an email and we can get together and sort something out.
Well, hopefully there's some parishioners out there who are listening to this and will actually get involved. Parish council, 4 of us, we can't do everything. No. We can only do what we can do, and I think we've done enough to try and take this village forward. You know, that we hadn't, people's names could have come forward for electing parish councillors, and no one bothered. They wouldn't have even needed a vote. They could have got on, but no one bothered. You know, so we need commitment.
Yeah,
from
agree.
People. So other people need to step up. The parish council has enough on its plate to deal with, and this is, you know, this is an issue. Is a policing issue for dealing with speedies. It is an offence. Yeah.
Just to summarise from myself, Peter, what I've sort of spoken about, just to conclude, what I've sort of made clear is that my priority is speeding, and I will be there to enforce. I will be going onto Marlingford Road as well. I just want to put a quick question out there. When is the time for me to be out there on Marlingford Road in particular? Any particular days, times, etc.?
As far as the parking is concerned, between about 3 and 3:30.
Yeah. So are we talking about pickup is more serious than the drop off? Do you think, or the other way around?
Yes.
I think drop off is, from what I see when I travel through, drop off is slightly better, but still not very good, is it?
Yeah.
And I agree with what Mary said. You know, it's because I live in Woodview Road, and you know, we had a vehicle. You're right. There's a large van parked up on the pavement all the time. There was a black car which lives, you know, very close to you, that was there for weeks and weeks and weeks, just blocking the road, and that does stop when
they fall down there. There's space in their drives for some of them.
Absolutely, there's space in their drives, and they're filling the road. I agree with you. You know, I've got a drive. I put my cars on the drive, so I agree with you.
Yeah, but I must say it is not against the law for residents to park on the highway.
It's not.
All right, we'll stop. But surely it's that van that's parked up on the curb every day, restricting access, restricting vision.
That's a policing matter to actually go see the van driver and advise them and educate them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's the gentleman there. If you can get him the number plate of the vehicle, I think he'll have a word with the ones involved in that. Now, I think that's been your promise, Stuart.
Yes, it's I'm talking about the repeat offenders here, and I'm not talking about every single van or vehicle which goes over those. I'm after repeat offenders, and that they tend to be the normal people who cause these issues, to be fair. So yes, that's on my radar. Jill Starkey, I'll be talking with, and we'll put a plan of action in place with that. Speeding, I'll be obviously repeating the Durham Road, which I normally go on anyway, and I'll be going down onto Marlingford Road as well. And good point about the dog unit as well. I'll certainly be putting that forward as well. Good idea about the visible policing presence. Yeah. And next time I come along in the big right van to show a bit of there could be 10 of us inside the van, to be fair. People wouldn't know, would they? I won't tell you in reality what we've got in there, but I'll use that tactic as well.
Yeah, or get the police handlers to take the dogs for walkies at 3 o'clock.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Lovely around children. It's just adults that they always have an issue with.
Yeah, I saw one of those. I saw one of those dogs at 3 o'clock. You need a big pad on your arm like they had.
Actually, on a serious note, getting the children involved as well is such a good fit. I mean, we shouldn't get the children involved, but I think with the permissions of the schools and the parents to let the children educate the parents of the dangers of parking like this. It can only be a good thing. We had something a couple of years ago with speed, and we actually got the children to actually point the pro laser guns we have at the speeding vehicles, and we stopped them, and the children actually spoke to the drivers, and that was quite impactful actually. So again, it's a tactic which we potentially could use as well. It will be certainly good for us from an engagement point of view. But yeah, leave that with me. There are plenty of tactics which we can utilise, and I want to have Easton as my sort of trial period, let's say, with adopting the views of Jill Starkey.
Okay, that's great stuff. Well, thank you very much for that. What we'll need to do is move on. We've got no members unless, Mary, you want to raise anything in the presentation?
I'll leave you now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay then, bye.
Bye.
Stuart, if you want to leave, because I know we're very grateful to Stuart, and I'd like it to go on the record that Stuart's on his day off, and he's actually got into uniform on his day off so that he can be involved in this. So we very much appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, Peter. To be fair, I wouldn't like you to want to see what I normally wear during the daytime. So that's the reason. I'll leave you with that.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you, everyone.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Okay. We've got no one for public adjournment, so we won't be doing that. I'd like to now just introduce Gina as the new parish clerk, or acting parish clerk, to cover France's sabbatical. So Gina, would you like to just tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, that's fine. Good evening, everyone. I've been quietly observing in the background. Yes, I've obviously been in recent conversation with Francis and Peter. The intention is obviously that I will just cover Francis's work while he's on his sabbatical. It does seem from my brief discussions that you've got quite a lot going on at Easton, and sounds very exciting times. So I'm quite keen and enthusiastic to get involved in that. I have done lots of projects and sort of different delivery things in the past, working with both large and small councils. I've been a clerk I'm coming up to my 17th year now. And I'm a silk qualified clerk. I've also been quite instrumental on both the local and the National Society of Local Council Clerks. And quite a while ago, I worked as a parish support officer for the Suffolk Association of Local Councils, where I did troubleshooting and also assisted in the training of both clerks and councillors. So I think I've had quite a wide experience. So yes, very much looking forward to sort of finding out more about Easton and helping you and supporting you in every way I can through this progression and transition period you're going through. Thank you very much.
You're on mute, Peter.
Always telling everyone else about being on mute. Thank you very much, Gina, for that. We look forward to working with you. I did send out to Gina her offer of the contract. I'm waiting to hear back, but I'm taking it by Gina appearing tonight. It was a yes. So I'm hoping. But yeah, there are opportunities. I won't call them challenges. I believe there are opportunities for taking things forward. But I am looking forward to stepping down as chair. I've been wanting to do that for the last couple of years. So think about who people want to appoint as the chair in May. I will stay on as a parish councillor and probably still do as much of work as I do, but the leash will be off me somewhat to be able to say things as they are, rather than sitting as a chair and in a more difficult position. So I'm going to give some updates. The proceeds from the Dereham Road sale, the money has gone into our bank account, apart from £50,000, which is sitting with our solicitors at the moment. The reason for that is that we've been so badly let down, we have no one to sign off processing any payments. We've got that all in process. I've now received my authorization card and I'm just waiting for a PIN to come through, and then I'll be set up. Hopefully Stuart will be online to do it almost straight away, and hopefully Francis has been in touch to sort that out. So we are moving ahead, so that our solicitors are holding money for us that he would actually act on our behalf to make sure people got paid and there would be no problems. So as soon as we're actually up and running, that money that's sitting with our solicitor will then be transferred into our main account. Okay, so the next thing is an update on the new village hall. Well, I've set a very ambitious target for getting the village hall up and running, which is 2 years. And I believe it is possible, but there has to be a will. The organisations like South Norfolk, the county council have to be willing to be proactive in their approach to doing things, not taking their time and taking forever to do anything. So if we can get planning permission sorted by the end of this year, we'd be on track to get the funding from South Norfolk, because that's being looked at the moment. We have to do things in parallel with getting all the plans and all approved. The architects are now working on phase 2, bringing that together. We're getting reports together, pre-app consultation work done, and that will be brought forward. So at the moment that's looking promising, and Persimmons are wanting to work with us on that, and they're sharing all that they can to help us. But they've hit a snag where Norfolk County Council highways have different views on what land they own compared to the OS. So there's a variation. Apparently it's a common problem in Norfolk, and I think around the country, where they think they own something which they don't, or they own something and they don't want to claim it because they would have to look after it and maintain it. And we'll cover one of those in a little while, of an issue on that. So I'm hopeful. We'll work hard to get that village hall done. It's taken a very, from my understanding, about 40 years worth of work over the years that people have tried to do it, but I'm working hard. I know Ben is as well. We want to achieve it if we can, within 2 years, so that when it comes up for next elections, I'll have done my bit for community completely, and I can sit on the sidelines. I don't just step away when going gets tough. So has anyone got any questions they want to ask me about the new village hall? Anyone? Margaret, would you like to ask anything? No?
Yeah, only about the parking, really. And
yeah, parking. The parking is the way that we can only put the parking in is a single entrance, which is further away past Buxton Close. We have to work in now with Highways Norfolk, require us to work our scheme to work in with what Persimmons are doing for their scheme, which is fair enough. That makes sense. But they're talking about wanting extra things done, like footpaths and so on, to be put in, extra footpaths. I don't mind, because it's going to cost South Norfolk more money to do it. But it just creates delay to getting things done. If the parish council is running the village hall, which it should be because of the amount of investment of public money going into it, then I would hope the parish council would feel that it is appropriate to open it to all, as it happens in Cossey and happens in lots of other places. But I remind all residents that the parish council has no control over the existing village hall. No, people can moan. I've had a councillor from Queen's Hill or Cossey contact me saying a resident in Queen's Hill is upset that we won't allow cars to park in the village hall car park. As I had to explain to that individual, we have no say on it. It is nothing to do with us. It is leased out we have no control over that. We can't even say that we want to be back in the hall for the next meeting. It is up to them to decide if they want to open it. So there's no point in coming to the parish council on this issue. We do not control it, and they control it until approximately 2050 on that lease. Okay, there's that. Nothing more I can say about parking on there, Margaret, at the moment. All right, for discussion.
If you can't have your meetings there, I mean, for the county council, our council chamber isn't big enough. We're talking about having to meet in the showground if we have to have meetings, proper face-to-face meetings after May 7th.
Yeah.
So maybe there are rooms at the college that you could use if you need a face-to-face meeting.
Yeah. Well, I will be honest. I will not attend a face-to-face meeting until at least October, because until the population has their second vaccination, I will not be attending. I've spent the last year isolating, so until the whole population gets there, the government is very keen on us at the lower end getting back to face-to-face meetings, yet they're going to allow themselves the privilege of not having them. So we're waiting to hear what NALC has to decide on this one.
Can I say, we've had, what's his name, Jacob Rees-Mogg, who's supposed to be in charge of this. We were talking to him within the last week, and he was adamant he wouldn't allow us, because we, the South Norfolk and the County Council, want to continue with virtual meetings because it's safer, and we have such large meetings, we can't find rooms big enough to do it. And they won't have anything to do with it. And we have got NALC petitioning, we've got Local Government Association petitioning, we've got everyone having a go, but it doesn't look as though we're going to get away with it at the moment. But they are still trying, they're all gathering together.
The way to get away with it is to refuse to turn up to the meetings, and then it sends the message to people like Rees-Mogg who don't live in the real world. You know, that's the only way to do it. Affirmative action.
Yeah, it's just illegal after May the 7th. We're not allowed to have them.
Oh, I know, and it is a ridiculous situation, but we need to move forward. So item 10 on the agenda is for discussion and resolution, the fencing quotes we've got in related to phase 2 of the Jubilee playing field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with yourselves, and hopefully I can make this all work. But it's not been doing it too well. So hopefully, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is what we're putting in, and this starts around the 26th. Saddened to see that some residents, their only comments can be is, why didn't we do it sooner? Well, we don't have a money tree to that individual. You know, we have to do things when we get the money to do it, and we've got the money, and we agreed to do it straight away after getting the money. We put in the order for it. We can't go any faster than that. So that resident may want to rethink their approach. Okay, so we're looking at the fencing. I went out and we had it all measured up. What has transpired is that when we originally looked at fencing, they'd quoted for chain link, which we believed it was going to be the solid fencing, and it worked out the solid fencing that we want is cheaper than the chain link because of the type of posts they have to use. They have to use concrete posts for that, but we can get 6 foot high, 1.8 meter high fencing all the way around with proper gates and so on. So what we've got are these different areas. So what we've got here is the fencing quotation to supply and install V-mesh fencing, which is this type of fencing, and 1.8 meters high, 5mm wire, green, post dug in and set in postcrete. We've got 195.5 meters to cover. The total cost will be £6,592.28. They will look to supply and install safe mesh pedestrian gates, fresh powder coated, height 1.8 meters to new fencing ×2. These are these type of gates here. And then what we'll be able to organize is, if we want to lock them at dusk and open them in the morning. We did have some volunteers to do that in the past because of the vandalism where we suffered, where some young people decided they would think it was an idea to set fire to the new equipment. So they'll put those gates in, they'll put on soft closers. So the soft, I've got something I've got to move out of the way. The soft closers are on the list for both gates. They're designed so that little children can't catch their fingers in them and so on. So they're special purpose closers. And they're £321 for two. They've also talked about a gate so that we can have access vehicles going in and cutting the grass and all the other things. They've talked about, at the moment, proposing gates like this, the 1.8 meters high, but we have talked to them about, instead of two gates, just one gate for better security, so that it's more difficult to push the gates open if we have one gate going across. So they're just looking at that, and it won't be any more than that. Supply and install some temporary Harris fencing and for the ongoing works. Oops. That's going to cost, so the total cost is £9,788.20 plus the VAT. So that's the cost to totally make that area properly secure. There's some clearance costs. I'm just waiting for the chap to come back to me on that, just trimming back some hedging and so on and taking the waste away. But I think with anything, you should always have a 10% contingency for unforeseen things happening on the site. So I would be looking for a resolution on that side to have this installed with a 10% contingency fund added to it. So we would be looking for 10,800 plus the VAT. If people are in agreement for that. Has anyone got any questions on that bit? Anyone want to ask anything about that? No? Okay. Well, I would like to propose that when the work goes forward for the Jubilee playing field, that we use this opportunity to do everything in one go rather than close the park a second time to put security fencing in. And I'll propose it. Could I have a seconder?
Yep.
Stuart seconding. All in favour? Yep, unanimous. Okay, so the next part of it is with regard to this area along here. We're going to have the fencing go all the way along here. It's 1.8 meters high, but because we know what the future is bringing our way, with some individuals wanting and South Norfolk wanting a footpath through, which would ruin the setting of the Jubilee. The idea is, apart from the fencing, is to put a hedgerow in. Now I've talked to CGM about the hedging. Now, given that we're saving a whole load of money anyway, by what we were going to pay out for chain link, this works out cheaper. This will put in a native hedging, but the important thing is this little beauty here, which will be interspersed in it. And I don't know how many of you are aware what this is. Anyone?
Oak.
Yes, oak. It will, if we put oak into it, the feeling is it'll be much harder for anyone to get any permission to take it out. And I think that's what we want to do for the future, to safeguard this area. And the way to safeguard it is to put in the obstacles now so that they grow up. The earliest that these could be planted will be in October. Would be the earliest that they could be planted because of the summer months. They need to be able to establish them first. So the different types of hedging, we've got this first one here is this type. So we'll have a mix going in there. Then we've got this type, followed by this, followed by this, and then followed by the oak. And what they will do is they mix it. They do 2 rows, and they mix them up so that they work out what best grows next to each other. They're the experts in it, and it gives us a total cost of £421 to put that section of hedge in. Just to remind you exactly where that section will go along here. Now, this section of hedging that we will look at, that the earliest that we could even look at that is October, and that's for the removal of the ivy from it. But because we'll have the 1.8 meter high fencing on the inside, it will still be secure when that ivy's all taken out. That's how to protect this piece of hedge, but that will have to be, they've got to do a lot more work on working out the costing of doing that, because there's a lot more work involved in that one. And then the replanting in the areas that need replanting to secure it all and to bring it back to full life. So what I would like to do is propose that as we do the fencing, we advise them that we're happy for them to go ahead and set the price now with them, rather than wait and maybe end up with changes of costing in the future with CGM, and set the pricing for £421.20 plus the VAT now. But understanding the earliest they can do it is October. Has anyone got any comments or feelings with regard to this? No, everyone happy? So I'd like to propose we do that. I need a seconder, please. Stuart seconding. All in favour? Yep, unanimous. So we're doing that. Okay. So that one's sorted. Now we're going to move on to planning. I'm going to go silent and I'm going to turn my microphone off, and I will stop sharing my screen, and I'll hand over to Ben to deal with 11.1.
Thank you very much. 11.1 concerns planning application 2021/0357, which is 15 Marlingford Road. The application was previously submitted under 2020/1150, and this was previously rejected by the Parish Council. The previous concerns still stand regarding the scheme being unable to meet policies 6 and 8 of Eastern Neighbourhood Plan. Policy 6 concerns housing in its setting, and the Parish Council argued then, and still argues in reference to this resubmission of the application, that the proposal does not demonstrate it will preserve and enhance the village, and is not sympathetic to the existing feel and streetscape. And it also is unable to meet policy 8, which is housing character and mix. The scheme doesn't recognise or reinforce the village character in relation to the height, scale and design. The planning officer has also, with regards to this application, said that the new roof proposal appears big and assertive from both the front and side elevations, and does not respect the character of surrounding area and existing buildings. It also, from the Parish Council, we argue that it fails to comply with the NPPF, so the National Planning Policy Framework 2019, section 12, paragraphs A, B and C, and also paragraph 128, where the applicant has made no attempt to contact the Parish Council regarding the development. With regards to this specific application and this resubmission, is given a chance to reflect further on it, and with regards to this, we believe it's now unable to satisfy policy 9 of the Eastern Neighbourhood Plan, which is the privacy of existing homes. And there are kind of concerns that the proposed extension westwards of the dormer windows will result in the dwelling overlooking existing residents and impact their privacy. And therefore, considering everything I've just outlined and the previous concerns the Parish Council had, I would move to propose that the planning application 2021/0357 should be rejected, unless anyone has any comments or questions that I might be able to answer.
No. No.
Nothing? Okay, so I will move to propose that we reject this application. If anyone would like to second that?
I'll second it, Ben.
Lovely. Thank you. And all in favour? Thank you. Unanimous.
Yeah.
I think that's everything with that one. So if I hand it back to you now, Peter.
Yeah, the only other thing I would say, Ben, is that he's putting a new wall up because he removed his old front wall, and I don't think that's particularly in keeping with the with the village either, because it looks as if he's going to render it. So again, I don't think that really fits in. That's my personal view with the with the village plan.
I agree. I would add to that while that doesn't come under the application and we can't reject it for that, it is, yeah, in my opinion, it isn't in keeping with the area, and at the moment, and even once it's rendered, is, I go to say, unsightly.
Yes.
And I think that kind of reflects, in my opinion, that reflects the kind of application proposal that is being submitted, and that's why we'd like that rejected.
Yep, I'd feel the same. Absolutely.
Okay, back to myself. Moving on to any other planning applications, we do have one which I'm now going to raise with you. I'll just share my screen with this. This is a planning application where we have been consulted on, which regards signage, which is going to go on land here, which we understand is owned by the Showgrounds, who said they have no objections to it, nor would they, as they have a vested interest in it because they are selling land to Persimmons Homes. It is for a sign of this scale and magnitude. It is over 5 meters tall by nearly 5 meters wide. And they also want to plant flags as well there. It is a huge sign. It is going to go into an area which residents will all know suffers, especially around here, on near misses and road traffic collisions. It is of great concern, this area, that if a sign goes in here, it will create more highway safety issues. I know Highways England have raised their own concerns with regard to the signage, with regard to highway safety, because it will be a distraction to drivers. the big problem we have on the safety on this is the way that the cars traverse around this roundabout. Many cars, when they come in, they get in the wrong lane to go either onto slip roads, or they're trying to go round to, when they come on this left lane, they're meant to go round, follow it all the way around, and still go over the bridge to go to the Longwater. Some of the cars get in the city only route because they don't understand the differences there. And as the cars start coming around here, they start realizing that, or they believing they're in the wrong lane, and they start moving lanes. And we're seeing a lot of, there was an accident only the other day there, and there's a lot of near misses. I think most of us will have seen the near misses or the accidents that are caused in this area by that issue. So I believe that we should be refusing this application. And when I had the conversation the other day with the councillor from Cossey, they had raised their concerns about the visual safety, and I have asked their local councillor to call it in on grounds of highway safety. So I believe that we should, for this application, we should say no to it and reject it. So I propose that we resolve to object on the grounds of highway safety. The current slip road alignment is leading to an increase in road traffic collisions and near misses as drivers become confused and try and change lanes on the roundabout. This signage will lead to unnecessary extra distraction and hesitation, and as such we believe is a potential road safety hazard. Its size and scale is disproportionate to the existing highway signage on the slip road. I'd like to propose this. Has anyone got any comments about this proposal? I would like a seconder, please.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favour? Yeah, unanimous. Okay. Moving on to the next area. So I'll just cancel sharing, and the next area is financial and governance matters update. It says on the minutes it's on the agenda by the clerk, but it's the responsible financial officer to go over all of this. Okay, so Francis, hand this all over to yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. Okay, so I sent everybody through the basically the big spreadsheet, or the big file that contains all elements of our revenue accounts. So just to say on that one, I spoke to the internal auditors today actually, and the accounts have gone through. So if everyone's happy with how this is all looking, then we'll use that as the basis now of producing the AGAR and the final accounts for external audit. So basically, in terms of the financial reserves, then at the end of March, we have in our bank account, this is excluding monies that have come in from the land sale, we have £44,677, and 35,929 of that are earmarked funds, which leaves a balance of 8,748, which are our general funds. And when we get, not if, but when we get our VAT money in from our friends at HMRC, we will we'll be looking at a contingency reserve just under 13,000, so 12,891, and I factored into that monies that will be going out for the village sign, which is going to come out of revenue funds, is not going to come out of our land sale receipts. So that's that in a nutshell, really. I don't know if there are any questions on that, but it will be a matter going forward of maintaining revenue funds separately from the the receipts we've had from the land sale and what we're spending the money on. So it'll be there'll need to be effectively do a monthly monitoring on that too, so everyone can see what's happening, and it will start with the figures in relation to moving from the gross receipt through the various costs that have been accumulated through legal fees, etc., getting to what the current balance is, and we'll discuss that at the meeting next week, at the working group meeting, and we'll tick it off there. So I've got all your figures, Peter, from the from Norton Legal, etc., and we'll be going through that at that working group meeting.
Can I just make the point? I'm saddened that the auditors have chosen to make their comment with regard to this bank holiday, where even though we reissued an extension, and they're still wanting us to say we didn't comply during the pandemic. You know.
On that, I mean, actually, it was due to you, Gina, told me to go back to them and have a word and sort of trying to stick a bit of a bomb under them. So I did actually speak to someone from PKF, the external auditors, and they said that if we put a specific note on the submission, they will allow us to basically, or they will rescind their comment. My concern is if they don't, then we'll have to unpack it because it's in black and white. They've said, you're right, Peter, they've said we basically didn't abide by our ruling of the 5 weeks, I think it was, in terms of when the public rights period has to last for. And we did do it. We did on their request. We did actually extend that by a day to cover the bank holiday that I had omitted. But we'll have a go. Well, we've got the governance statement coming up, which we're going to go through. So I'm going to suggest we actually do tick that we did comply, because as you said, Peter, we absolutely did comply with that. If we need to tough it out with them, we'll tough it out with them. Okay, because I don't think it's fair that we just follow what they say because they've said it. We actually have proof. We have proof on the website that we did extend the public rights period by that extra day. And because we've got that up on the website, even if we have to argue it out with them, I think we should.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. It was, we were working in exceptional circumstances of a COVID pandemic, in a lockdown, to try and do the best we can, and for them to act like that, I think it's sad. But I won't say too much against the auditors because they haven't audited us yet.
No, we like the auditors. While we've still got the opportunity of a nice clean audit report, yes. we do like the auditors.
Yes,
so that's the record. We like
nice people
at the moment.
Okay, I've been co-host if you want to share anything.
No, all I was going to say, because I'm just conscious of the time, Peter, as well with us. As far as my April payments go, we've got half the village sign costs still to come, which we may well be paying for by the end of this month. The other half, so 900 of that, has come out of land sale receipts for the moment, but we'll transfer that over because we can. Peter alluded to, we can now do that, but we have control of our bank account again. We do have authorised signatories so that we can actually make payments.
So Stuart's now fully authorised and up and running.
No, I need to sort that with Stuart. Find out what's happening with that because you're in a different case, Stuart. I need to. We just need to get you set up with.
He needs to phone them
with the online. Yeah, you've got it. You'll need. But I'll go through that with you.
And he's got that special number you gave me where I got hold of them, and the whole thing was dealt with in under 9 minutes.
Yeah, it won't happen with you, Stuart. It only happens with Peter.
Right, okay.
I don't know why. So there's £8.91 for a waived bill. There's some NALC fees, I think £255. but we'll go through those next week with the working group, plus obviously the salary costs to the end of the month. So that's that one. And then just to now look at the update, I've said as far as the internal audit goes, that's been approved. They will be sending their signed documentation, which forms part of the kind of the reporting pack that PKF, the external auditors, need. So I'm going to pick that up on Wednesday. But they're happy. SCS accounting said accounts were fine, so they're happy with that. What we need to do now, though, is we do need to approve both the annual government statement and the accounting statements for 2021, so that we can get those off to PKF. So they need to know that obviously we have resolved to approve both those statements at this meeting, and then that will be evidence for them via the minutes going up on the website.
And they're in the right order, because I know PKF are very particular.
Yeah, I got them. I know the year before last, I got them the wrong way round, so we got told off for putting it in the wrong way. Anyway,
I think a lot of people did that because they changed them, didn't they? They changed the order.
Yeah.
That caught a lot. Like, you're doing well. Keep going.
I love them. For the record, second time, I do love the external auditors. Right, okay. So this annual government statement, you've all had a copy of that, and basically, without going through it all,
I'm happy to
fine, yes, to everything on that. So we need a proposer and seconder for.
I'll second it.
Stuart seconds. All in favour? Yep, unanimous.
Lovely.
Okay.
So I will get you to sign that at today's date, Peter.
Yes, that's no problems. They want
I'll bring that round.
well, so I need to do that on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll pop around on Wednesday.
For anyone on YouTube who doesn't know when I said wet signature, it is literally they want to see that my real signature, not a photocopy of it. They want the original with that. The next one we need to do is a resolution to approve the accounting statement. Now, the accounting statement will be adjusted to show that we have complied with everything, and we'll spar it out with them should the need arise.
Yeah, Peter, that was on the government statement. That's the governance statement. Sorry, so that was number 4 on there. Yeah. So the accounting statements will be what's taken from the accounts that I showed, that I sent round to you all. And in fact, I think I'm pretty certain. Well, actually, I'm very certain that if you look at the actuals and budget for the year, I've actually split the figures up. There's a column which splits it up to show you exactly where the figures come for the AGAR report, which is looking at basically how that money's spent, how that money has come in terms of the categories that we need to show by. I will produce a variance report to show what the differences are, and I will do that at the next week's meeting. Didn't need to do that for the internal audit. They just want to know that the figures here are fine. But I'll do that for next week, so you'll see all that.
That's fine.
To get the numbers off to them as soon as possible.
Can I just check something with Gina? I've realised in my head I got them wrong. Is it best, because of the auditors, the recording, that we resolve and we vote again on this issue of the annual governance? Because I was thinking of the accounting statement.
I did write down annual government statement.
Yes. Okay. It's just I want to make the point of point 4 that we will put a note with it to explain. Do you want us to re-vote on? Would you feel that it would be better to re-vote on that with that comment in mind, saying that we are stating that we have met everything in the annual governance statement, and we will put a note to that effect as part of the resolution?
If you want to make a separate resolution to do that, I can add that in. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think we should. I would like to propose that. I need a seconder, please. Yeah, Ben seconding. All in favour? Yeah, unanimous. Okay, so we can go on to the resolution to approve the accounting statements 2020-21. So Francis has just gone over everything. I had a look at those in detail, and hopefully you all have, and they all seem fine, and very much appreciate all the hard work that's gone into getting those done. So I'd like to propose the resolution on that, and I need a seconder, please.
Yeah.
Stuart seconding. All in favour? Unanimous. Okay, that's all done. So if we can put in the records a thank you to Francis on the accountancy side of sorting that. Next one is correspondence received in response to, or actions required. Do we have anything of an urgent nature given time? There is one thing that we do need to raise, and hopefully Margaret, you can help us with this. There's a resident in Buxton Close who had to chop down some hedging and some trees which are on land that doesn't belong to her, which belongs to South Norfolk, that's been damaged their fence. She'd been asking South Norfolk to do it for a long time. It was overgrown into a garden. It was causing all sorts of problems. So she's had to take it on upon herself so she could get her car safely in her driveway without them being scratched by this overgrown stuff, and it's cost her a lot of money. And I believe that South Norfolk should be the ones actually footing the bill for this, because they've just ignored the problem. And we need to know who we contact to help this lady out, so that she shouldn't have to pay for work that should have been done by South Norfolk. Any ideas who we should contact to help this lady?
No, I mean, I would have thought you should have contacted South Norfolk, or she should have contacted South Norfolk before she did it, in which case we would know who to talk to. Well, who did she talk to? She's
been contacting them, and they all just gave her a runaround. Oh, someone will contact her, someone will get back to her. No one ever did.
But we need some names of who she talked to.
Yeah, that's fine. What I'll do is I'll try and get those, and then we need to try and do something there, because it's unacceptable that they allowed it to get in such a bad state. It's actually, her fence is all damaged, so that she's had to put out a load of cross members to try and hold it up at the moment, and she shouldn't have to pay for that fence to be replaced, because that basically South Norfolk didn't do the due maintenance.
We just have to see who's responsible and what they say.
Yeah.
What the regulations and rules are. Yeah.
Well, if it's not her land, she can't be held responsible for that. If it's not,
and
her
she shouldn't have done it.
No, I'm talking.
She should have put more pressure on the council, or come to us to put more pressure on the council.
Yeah. Okay. But going forward, it's the even if they don't pay for that, they should be paying for her fence to be repaired.
I can't comment until I know.
No, I know, not at this stage, until it's all looked into. But I believe that we should support this lady, and hopefully you're in agreement with me on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stuart is.
Yeah.
Ben, David, you're in agreement. Yeah. So we'll follow this up, and Gina and I will work on this one. Okay. Is there anything else that is of urgent matters? Because I'm mindful of time.
Peter, there was just one thing very quickly, and I know we didn't raise it at the parish meeting with Rowley, but it's just this question of having a parish council letterbox on the village hall with an address, and whether if people are in favour of that. So it's not on the agenda, but if we can perhaps talk about it next week in terms of
I think what we do is at our finance meeting, working group meeting. What we'll do is we'll get it dealt with at that. But what would be useful possibly in the meantime is, Francis, you have a good working relationship with Rowley. Could you contact him and see if that would be okay for us to have our mail delivered to a letterbox, a suitable letterbox, which would be a stainless steel one, on the building.
Yeah, the suitable is the key word in it, because what we don't want is it looking like a letterbox that people are going to be posting their letters into in order to get with the post.
Yeah, no, it would be a suitable box. It's ones like I have on the side of my house and so on, rather than so
even then people will be posting they'll be putting their letters into it, that's gonna, so we've got to just find a we'll look into that one.
It will be sorted. So we'll sort that out. So for everyone to raise agenda items for the next parish council meeting, well, the first thing is we've got is selecting a new chairman, selecting a vice chairman, and so on. I will open the meeting and just formally step down, and then hopefully someone will be nominated chairman and then vice chairman, and we can then move forward. We have vacancies. Hopefully we will find people that want to be parish councillors and put the work into the role of being a parish councillor and the amount of time that's actually needed to do this role. Always the problem is it's a voluntary role. There is no funding for parish councillors. They do it as a civic duty for the community, and maybe some people need to understand that how it's done and why it's done. So has anyone got any other things they want to raise onto the agenda at this moment? We've got plenty of time. If you think of anything, if you let myself or Gina know, Gina will be contactable from tomorrow on the clerk email. Francis will have a separate email address of RFO, and I'll be setting those up tomorrow morning, and I'll be going through for Gina how we're going to reset the password for the parish clerk, and so there will be access for Gina and then for Francis for overlapping work. There'll be a new password which I will organize and get out, and I'll send those to your private email addresses so you've got the passwords so that you each can then get onto it and do what's necessary. Okay, with that in mind, our next parish council meeting is the 4th of May. We have a working group next week. I have a meeting to attend, I think it's Thursday, with regard to the food hub. I will report back to you on how that has gone, because we've got this new exciting development coming onto the food hub site, which will be really good. It's vertical farming. It's a fantastic idea, and it's coming to us rather than to Norfolk County Council, who tried to have it, but they didn't get it. So we've got it. I know, Margaret, you wouldn't know about that one, but Norfolk County Council desperately wanted it for themselves on their land, but this company has chosen to come onto the site near Easton. So we're really pleased at that, and that will bring new employment to the area.
What are they going to be growing in there, Peter?
Hopefully food.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, is it going to be fruit or is it going to be veg? Is it going to be?
I'm not 100% sure. Dave Martin has had lots of discussions and meetings with them and met up with them from Condimentum. So, but on Thursday, I will find out all I can and let you know.
Yeah, if I can come back to get some more details, quite important.
Yeah, that would be.
I think there are going to be some spaghetti bushes from what I know.
Yes, okay.
Now. Okay. On that note, thank you all for your attendance. Thank you for all those on YouTube who've listened in. I hope you find it very useful. I'm looking forward to next month. So, you know, it's a fresh start, and we can continue to move this village forward in a really positive way. All right. Thank you all very much for tonight. Take care now.
Thank you.
Tina, can I just give you a phone?
Tina, can you stay a minute?
Yeah. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
can I just give you a phone? Or actually, we just stay on, Peter.